Having lots of power in Rise of Kingdoms does not protect you from being zeroed, and in this footage, you're going to watch a player who's 170 million power that went offline in Kingsland get completely zeroed. Stick around for the rallies and the reports. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisco Gaming, a sponsored content creator for Rise of Kingdoms, and today you're watching this 170 million power player who went offline in Kingsland. Their kingdom had been winning a lot of the stuff leading up to Kingsland, but they went offline in Kingsland, flag got destroyed, boom, player is getting rallied and zeroed by 8 freaking rallies. If you like Rise of Kingdoms guides that help you get value and smash your enemies, then do me a huge favor and smash that subscribe button for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos, and check out the link in the description for my Discord server, discord.gg/chiscool, where lots of fun folks hang out talking about Rise of Kingdoms all day long. In this video, the footage was provided to us very graciously by Sora, who recorded all of this going down. And I just want to give a quick shout out that, hey, if you've got footage of a zeroing and you'd like me to potentially feature it in a video and you'll give me exclusive access to that footage, then definitely send me a message and I'll be happy to go and create a video memoria so you can remember the occasion in which you did that epic zeroing. So here we are. This is going to take many rallies to bring this 170 million power player down. We've got all the volleys recorded here, and we're doing this at about 140% speed. So it's a little bit sped up so we can get you through the action. A zeroing like this, by the way, takes a full hour or longer. So I've cut out all the middle stuff that you don't need to see, where rallies are marching and rallies are being set. But there is a huge amount of coordination that goes into a maneuver like this. This is during a light versus darkness, kingdom versus kingdom. And you can see a thumbs up being given there. That was not the player being zeroed who gave the thumbs up. That's the rallies. Together to the end, indeed. I think it does take a lot of courage to do this sort of a zeroing. I mean, I'm sitting at 180 million power, and seeing stuff like this, I mean, it makes me a little bit squeamish for just how zeroable, like, I really am as well, quite frankly. No amount of power, it seems, would keep you safe. Although, I don't know, 1 billion power? You know, 1 billion power, Baba levels of power, you're probably fine. You're probably fine. But here we can see a ton of rallies. In this sort of situation, you theoretically would want to have a tank rally go first, a rally that's not necessarily trying to do a lot of damage, just survive the damage really well. That's because it's taking any normal attack damage and counterattack damage and single target skill damage that the garrison is going to dish out. Let's see if we can get a peek at what this player is using. We see the Charles Martel primary and Esong secondary. So a whole bunch of these rallies are going to get hit by the Esong. There's really nothing they could do about that. But in a situation like this, by the way, Saladin is a very exceptional rally commander. And the reason that I would recommend a Saladin, or even like Saladin with Mehmed, is that not only do you get the benefit of the 4th skill doing 15% more damage to the city, and 15% damage is a lot, but Saladin reduces the counterattack damage taken and reduces the skill damage taken. So if the Saladin is not one of the rallies tanking, it's not the primary rally, the first rally that hits, that means you're taking 20% less counterattack damage. That's a big deal. A lot of the damage that you're taking is counterattack damage. And if you're unlucky and you're getting hit by the AoE, and even with 8 rallies, you'll get hit by it occasionally, you're reducing the skill damage you take by 30% as well from your Saladin. So Saladin is just a phenomenal commander for open field and for these city rally situations, especially multi-rallies. A few of these rallies were not quite timed perfectly, it looks like, but that's going to happen when you have 8 alliances all involved in a zeroing, and there might have even been more. You can see that's an Attila Takeda. It's a great rally choice. Doesn't look like that rally's getting any reins, and it's going to run into some trouble. I'll say the other thing that makes this style of zeroing particularly hard in Kingsland is if there's still fighting going on in Kingsland while that zeroing's taking place, it's a pretty major distraction from wherever else you might need to be fighting. So what you might be watching here, and I'm, you know, the folks that gave me this footage actually We're very happy to answer all my questions. I'm only thinking of this now, but I sort of wonder if all the fighting had settled before they went and started this zeroing, or if they were doing this zeroing in the middle of still contesting Kingsland, which would be pretty awesome, quite frankly, to have this many people able to commit to this style of zeroing. This player has already lost a massive amount of power here, and in the reports, we'll be able to show you what each of these different rallies was accomplishing. We can see, by the way, we've got a Saladin primary, a Charles primary, a couple Saladin primaries, actually. There's a Nebu primary, an Attila Takeda. The only thing I'll say is, even if the Attila Takeda isn't tanking, it just seems like it's a great rally to be using these days, weirdly enough. But if they are tanking, they do a lot of counterattack damage as well, which is very strong. Here, ooh, looks like there's a Herald rally. Nice. And a Ramses rally. Saladin rally. Somebody hitting with their own Khan separately. Oof. There's a Saladin rally. I think at this point, the player has gotten so low. They must be under like 70 million power. They are in some trouble. Another rally's on its way over. This player does have the Frozen City theme. I don't know what it's actually called. I'm just going to call it the Frozen City theme. They're going to have to... Oh, God, puns. This is so bad. Am I going to do this? They're going to have to let it go and power back up. Because here's the thing. Although their account is zeroed, okay, they are in KvK Season 3. They've still got a lot of value in the account. You know what I mean? Just the commanders are worth a lot. The city skin, you can see, like, they must have a lot of things they've accumulated, equipment assuredly as well, that's worth a lot. It's worth powering back up, as demoralizing as it is to get zeroed from this situation. Oof. Savage. So savage. That is a Nebu Mehmed. I really like that combination for hitting a city. I wouldn't want it to be the rally that's tanking, but it is a very solid combination for hitting the city. I like that. In an ideal world, the Attila Takeda would be tanking. And, the folks that I was chatting with said themselves, like, yeah, we probably could have been a little more coordinated. But, here's the thing. After a long battle in Kingsland, like, I get it, man. You just zero the city, and getting it done is the accomplishment. And get it done, they did. We're about at the point here where maybe we start swarming it. 71 million power. Okay, they're just to 71 million power. This player has only 70 million kills. They have a pretty low number of kills for 170 million power. So they may not be doing a ton of field fighting. I get that this is only the third KvK, the third season of KvK. I don't know if this is a player who had migrated to the kingdom that they're in. It does look like their name is in Korean for what it's worth. So I think they are in a primarily Korean kingdom. And I don't know if that's a kingdom that had migrated to where they are or they started there. But here comes a whole bunch of swarming. You see the constants on the field? People are in it for the resources. Oh, yeah. There was a Joan of Arc Barca in there. They're now yoinking all those resources. And now the rallies are staggered, and that just makes sense. Here's a Guan primary rally. I have pretty much all these reports, by the way. We'll cruise through them just to see how they did and what was happening. I think it's really interesting to get a look and see which ones are sort of most performant. It'll give us a sense. They're down to 63 million power. They do have about 12 million dead troops. Did I see that correctly when that flashed on the screen? Here comes the Nebu rally, looking for another piece of the action. Holy jeez, there it is. Crashing into that city. Man. If you're going to go offline in Kingsland for any amount of time, even if it's like to step away, to walk your dog or whatever, use a peace shield. No joke, use a peace shield. You're going to have a conversation for 20 minutes with somebody and you're not going to look at your screen, peace shield. Peace shield. However long you think your peace shield needs to be, go for a longer duration peace shield. Okay? Learn that in KvK Season 1. Whatever you think that time frame is, double. How long of a peace shield do you think you're going to need? Because if you forget, and then this happens, the peace shield is worth the gems. It's a risk mitigation. Oh, God. All right. I think you've seen what you need to see here. Oof. Let's make our way over to the reports as this player, I mean, oh my God. Look at all those rallies. Literally swarming around the city. They can't even connect with the city because there's too many marches already hitting it. They're just like circling around trying to find a spot. Oh, jeez. Wow. All right, let's get a look now at some of these reports. Oh, gosh. This is going to be pretty savage. Here are the reports from Sora, who provided the footage and the Nebuchadnezzar rallies. This is a Nebu Mehmed, 106,000 dead for them and 193,000 dead for the city. So that's a good 2-for-1 and a 4-for-1 by power, which is really the more important thing to be looking at. If we get a sense of what this player had in their city at the time of this rally, I mean, it's all T5s, 100% T5 losses. Now, that's actually, I think, a smart choice for their hospital. And it does look like they've got the Charles Martel with the E-Song, which I think is a great choice. We look at the troop buffs here, and what do we see happening? The infantry attack. Why is the infantry attack so high? This is so high. That's very interesting. And theirs is so low. Their defense is really high. Okay. That makes sense. I guess Mehmed is just giving some raw attack. Maybe that's what's going on. Infantry health is really good. Okay, yeah. You know, this player is they're in an alliance. So they do have the buffs from the alliance. I'm sure they've got some great gear on as well. I have to think that they've got their gear on. Maybe not. Maybe their gear was all on their field fighters. That is a possibility. And then, oof, I wish I saw the total number of resources this player had before this zeroing started. Let's get a look at more of these reports. There are a lot of them. Here they're down to just under 7 million troops, and it's an 82,000 loss for the Nebu rally, 243,000 for the garrison. And again, that's a really solid trade, looking like a 6-for-1 trade here, which is really great if you look by power. Okay, so the rally's got a lot of T4s, but if you look by power, oof, that's a big hit. And wait, what happened here? Somebody must have accidentally swarmed the rally instead of hitting the city or something. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. All right, next up, what do we got? Here they're down to 6.3 million troops. That's 77,000 to 211,000. And by the way, we have reports from many of the rally leaders. So we'll get a look at the different compositions, the different combos, and see how they did. Here we've got 129,000 to 288,000. That's when the city's down to just under 6 million T5 troops. Trade is still really positive, quite positive, 3 or 4-for-1. It's really quite nice. Looking further into these reports, we've got when they're down to 3.8 million, that's 63,000 dead to 141,000 dead. Jeez. I mean, it takes a while to zero a city like this, but gets the job done. That's the report we just looked at. Okay. Here's another one. They're down to 3 million, 160,000 to 348,000. For some of these, if I recall, this rally was tanking. So that's worth mentioning. Still an amazing trade going on here. And final Nebu Mehmed report. Oh, yeah, this is the very end. 18,000 to 153,000. They got 809,000 troops left in the city. And it looks like we do have a shot of the gear on that Nebu, in case you were interested. Yeah, that's some really great gear. I mean, that is literally the same way that I kitted out my Nebu. It's exactly the same. Taking advantage of the revival set for the chest and legs to get that set bonus. You use the special talented gear for that. And then the helmet, the boots, the weapon, the gloves from the set. That's great. They got a concealed dagger and a silent trial. Fine choices for that equipment. Nice. Okay. And now, what do we have here? More rallies from Sora. So I think Sora was doing this from a main and an alt, which is really quite impressive. They were doing rallies from both of these at the same time. Here are Attila Takeda rallies on the exact same city. 101,000 to 143,000. So not quite as good of a trade. That's a 3-for-1-ish trade by the number of, or by the amount of power going on here. Looking to the next one. What are we at? Boom. 164,000 to 167,000. So you can see that Nebu Mehmed did a lot of work here. You can see why it's so strong. If we look, by the way, at the troop buffs, let's just look at their Attila Takeda stats here. They've got 303.5% attack, 124% defense, and 75% cavalry health. So they got a lot of attack stats on this Attila Takeda. Let's keep going here. By the way, in case you're wondering what the best stat is for Attila Takeda, I'll have a card up in the top for the video we did testing that out. Here's 427,000. Oof. Here they must have been tanking. Oh, yeah. No, this is the rally. Okay, to 135,000 dead. This is the rally where they were the only rally in. So they're switching between their main and their alt, I think. And this rally hit at a time when all the other rallies were not hitting. So you can see the importance here of A, rallies that are reinforced heavily, and B, making sure that obviously the timing lands with what everybody else is hitting. But again, to do a zeroing like this in Kingsland, you've got to act fast, and I appreciate the need for speed. I think it's totally fine that, I think this is the same report we were just looking at. I think it's totally fine that something like this, happens on occasion while you're in the process of making a zeroing happen. 413,000 to 151,000 here. So what might be going on is that they're just so spread out across a whole bunch of alliances that it might have been tricky to keep all these rallies full and topped off. Here's 92,000 to 83,000. Almost 2 for 1 in terms of the power trade here. And then, final report. Here we go. 28,000 to 110,000. And we do have the gear on the Attila Takeda. Nice. I like this. This is great. This is very helpful. Great gear. I mean, their Attila Takeda gear is better than mine, actually. I have not invested in Cav gear recently, and don't mind my zooming in a whole bunch here on this screenshot. But, they've got everything special talented for the most part for Cavs, with the exception of the Silent Trial, but that's fine. That's a tough one to get a special talent on. And then they've got the set boots and maybe the set pants, but definitely a set weapon there. They've got the 2-piece set bonus. And then they've got Shadow Legion's Retribution, bunch of attack stats on that. Yeah, I mean, that's a fine Attila Takeda. Like I said, better equipment on that one than I have on mine. So then continuing to the next reports here, here's John Wick. John Wick, here's what they're using. I think you'd want to swap off of the March Speed if you had any other accessory. They might not have had another accessory, or might have been deployed to some other troop rallying some other thing. Gosh darn it. 2 pieces of the set? Dang. They have 2 pieces of the Cav set, special talented. Whew. Jeez. Wish I could get special talents on my legendaries. Ooh, and they have a scouts report. Oh, dang. Okay, so I said I wish I had a scouts report. Here it is. This player had, oh my God. That's a lot of resources. That's a lot of resources. Wow, almost 6 billion resources, including 2.2 billion gold. Oh, man. There's a payoff for zeroing this city. I mean, normally you zero a city, you're not getting that many resources. Maybe a couple 100 million gets distributed across everybody, but they had a cool 6 bill. Whew. Jeez, 2 billion of it was gold. Oh, my God. And here's that initial scouts report. 6.2 million infantry. Barely any archers. That's really interesting. Wow. Almost no archers. So they're getting like no benefit from the Esong second skill giving archer attack. That's really unusual. I mean, they must have sent like all of their archers to die in KvK. Wow. That's honestly, I mean, I'm impressed. That is impressive. And then 4.8 million cavalry. And then barely any siege. Honestly, pretty impressive. I mean, they got their T1 and their T4 siege. That's it. Wow. Appreciate that scouts report. That's actually really awesome. Okay, so now John Wick's attacks on the city. Holy jeez. Attila Takeda, you saw the gear. 185,000 to 191,000. So you can see the trade's not quite as good. 1 million to 2.4. This really helps you appreciate the power of that Nebu Mehmed. Here we've got 212 to 309,000 and a 3-for-1 trade by power. So these trades are still amazing. These trades are still phenomenal. 139,000 to 181,000. That's 817,000 lost for the rally by power and 1.8 million for the garrison. So all in all, some really great reports here. 153,000 to 313,000. 3 for 1 by power. And up next, 78,000 to 149,000. And that's 3 for 1 by power again. Fantastic trades. I mean, there's just so many of these reports. 56,000 to 222,000. And wow, 5 for 1 or more. 6 for 1 on the trade. And 293,000 to whoa. What is going on here? Someone must have reinforced the city, it looks like. What happened here? This is a different city hit. I think this is a different city hit. Okay, different city. Different city. Still a cool report. 293,000 dead for the rally. 971,000 dead for the city. And they had 3.3 million troops in there. We look at what troops they had. They do have some T5. Oh, God. Some T2, T1. Those are siege, though. Okay, that's more reasonable. That's more reasonable. A lot of infantry. France is their civilization. Some cavalry. No archers left. Dude, did this kingdom zero their archers in KvK? Did they literally zero their archers? This is very unusual. This is very unusual. Really impressive report. Let's keep looking through here and see what else we've got. We have, a Charles Martel primary. Hello. Here's the gear. Mostly special talented epics, with the exception of the Witch's Lineage. That was one of the last ones that I got special talented for infantry epics as well. A Shio's Return and a Lucky Coin. I think we might be looking at a tank rally here, folks. What do we got? There's the tank rally, just like we were talking about. Okay, cool. 483,000 to 153,000. Ouch. That's when the city has 12.7 million troops. So the city's at its peak. That said, the trade was even. Look at how this is so important. The trade was even, everybody. That is an even trade. I mention that because, sure, by power, it's even. By troop loss, it went poorly. But this is the tank rally. Everything else is enabled to go positive by virtue of this rally. Here's the second report. Now it's going positive. 320,000 to 362,000. That's 1.8 million by power to 3.6 million by power. Now things are starting to turn around for even the tank rally. And up next, 190,000 to 190,000. Still better than a 2-for-1 trade by power. And next report, 217,000 to 330,000. About a 3-for-1 by power. Very nice. Looking at the next one, 117,000 to 189,000. I mean, this totally worked out. And that's a little better than a 2-for-1, 2.5-for-1 by power. Everything's expertised. Nice. Let's get a look at the next one here. We've got another report. Whoa. This is, okay, this is a flag rally, but let's just get a look at this. Attila Takeda. This is Danny again, leading the rally here. And, 1.6 mil to 3 mil dead. And that's 8.9 million power to 23 million power lost. My God. That's Attila Takeda into a Charles Martel Theodora. I actually would have expected the Charles Martel Theodora to slay this. And it is expertised. So I don't know what's going on there. We'd have to get a much closer look. Maybe they were just struggling to reinforce it. Were they throwing siege in it? Oh. They're throwing siege in. They're throwing siege in. Let me tell you something about throwing siege into a flag like this. If you're going to start throwing siege in, the thing you need to do is not be using a Charles Martel primary. I get that Theodora doesn't care about the troop type, but you need that Wu Zetian primary. You desperately need the Wu Zetian primary. I'll have a card up in the top if you want to see a video on how to properly mobilize your siege units. I mean, arguably getting literally any trade is better than what our kingdom had to do recently, deleting siege in order to actually get players in, because we were in Imperium. We had to leave Imperium and bring in a bunch of folks, which we did. There were some folks who doubted that we could leave Imperium, but, siege deletion, the OP play, apparently. This is a better way than just deleting your siege, but I would argue the Wu Zetian primary would get you some better results there. Okay, we've also got some Saladin reports here. Saladin Khan and Saladin Mehmed, and we've got to get a look at these. I'm really interested to see how they perform. These were reinforced, which is important. It does look like 151,000 to 223,000. That's when the city's at nearly peak strength. That's 10.8 million troops left in the city. And that's better than a 4-for-1 trade by power, 680,000 to 2.9 million power. It's a great trade. Saladin and Khan, both expertise, looking solid there. In terms of their stats, 208% cav attack, 176% cav defense. Good for them. And 75.5% health. Those are quite strong stats. Looking to the next report, we're sitting on 136,000 dead for the rally, 237,000 dead for the city. That is a 4-for-1 trade by power. That's fantastic. And I'll just call attention to the fact that although you might think Khan is not such an amazing commander for the open field, I think they're fine in this city hitting capacity because the rally was not getting pressured at all. I mean, they're just free to hit this thing. 71,000 dead to 157,000 dead. That's a fine trade. And in fact, it's better than a 5-for-1 by power. Fantastic trade. Nicely done. Next report is 9,700, okay, to 83,000. So this point, the city's almost zeroed here, and that's better than a 20-for-1 trade, which is pretty good. And you can see they can't take any resources because they're using the Saladin, which is unfortunate. That's from the 4th skill. This city happened to have had 6 billion resources, so it would have been nice to kind of take some of those. But you just got to use the best thing to hit the city. Okay, that's what you're doing. Is you're wrecking the city. Speaking of which, 169,000 to 278,000. This is a Saladin Mehmed combination. That's 1.2 million to 3.8 million on the trade. And we look here, they are expertise, Saladin and Mehmed. 236.5 attack, 152 defense, and 101.5 health. Wow. That is a lot of health. That is a lot of health on those calves. Very impressive. Okay. Continuing to the next report, we're looking at 239,000 to 538,000. Woo! 1.6 mil dead for the rally, 4.6 mil dead for the city. There are a lot of reinforcements going on here, so that's why I think these reports are looking better and better. Obviously, reinforcing the rally goes well. 136,000 to 334,000. It's better than a 3-for-1 trade on that. And up next, 85,000 to 195,000. City's down to 4.8 million troops at that point, better than a 3-for-1 trade by power. And 58,000 to 225,000. City's down to 3.8 million power. Solid hit, better than a 5-for-1 trade there. Another hit is 10,000 to 106,000. Jeez. Really great trade as that city is zeroed. And the gear on Don's Saladin, who was leading those rallies, is very solid. Very solid. You know, I'll give you a little bonus piece of content here. If you wanted the most stats per material used on a cavalry commander, or really any of the commanders, if you're making the legendary set, often the most efficient thing you can do, again, that is in terms of the number of materials you spend versus the number of points of bonus you get, is you want to make the weapon and either the boots or the gloves. That's the most stats you get per material spent. And that makes sense, right? That's because, in part, the boots and the gloves are the least amount of materials, and just getting the 2-piece bonus gives you 3% of extra stats. Doesn't matter. You know, the helmet and the chest, they cost 50% more materials than these pieces do. But the set bonus is still the same. So the weapon is just gangbuster. It's just good in terms of value. And then you do boots with cavalry because the Isset Sufferance gloves are amazing. This is 8% of stats right over here on these gloves with the special talent. The legendary is going to be 7.5% of stats, if I remember correctly. So you wouldn't want to make the legendary when you've got these. So boots is a really good play in this instance. And I love this choice for the equipment. Really great. Really impressive. Also, it looks like there was an Edward hitting. They don't have the reports, but here's the gear on their Edward. I mean, they were doing some work, man. They were doing some work. Really impressive stuff here. If you enjoyed this video, do me a huge favor, throw a like on here, consider subscribing. And if you want to see more stuff like this, or hey, if you've got footage where you zeroed something, or you are thinking about it in the future and you're going to do a big zeroing, and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to record this. If you're comfortable sending me the footage, sending me the reports like these folks did, it was really exceptional. I appreciate that they did this. They went in and they shared with me the scouts reports, pictures of their gear, and then all the reports. This is really fantastic. We get into a group chat. I'm happy to turn it into a video potentially. You send me a message on Discord. We can chat about it. Obviously, the higher power the player is for the zeroing, the better. I mean, they even sent me a screenshot at the start of this. They're like, here's your rally count, Chiscool. This is great. I mean, this sort of stuff is really helpful. I appreciate it. I very much appreciate they're sending me this footage. Congratulations again to Kingdom 829 in KvK Season 3 and their allies, 821, 805, and 817. They're battling against 778, 779, 812, and 799. Again, congrats on this insane zeroing. Smash the like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already so you don't miss a video just like this. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. And I look forward to showcasing other people's zeroings just like this.